So this video is about weekend binge drinking. Now, if you're a man in your 30s to late 40s, you will know how disruptive this is if you are a high performing achiever. How do I know this? Because this was me for many years, all through my 20s. Someone who went to the gym, had a decent job, worked hard, looked good, thought good of himself, but always succumbed to the weekend of drinking. It was always that one drink. I just had a stressful week. I'll go and have a drink with the boys. Sometimes it was on a Thursday night. I remember this time actually. Got these two friends, still friends with them now, both good guys. But I remember we'd go out on a Thursday and we just couldn't wait for the weekend. So my mate would pick me up in his car. We'd go to some pub 30 minutes away from where we lived because it felt exciting, because that's how boring our lives were. We had to go to a pub which wasn't local. So we kind of felt like we were on holiday. We'd go and have a pint of whatever. This would be back in Wales, so it'd usually be shit weather. Then we get the cocaine out. We'd have a line of cocaine, so we get a gram between the three of us. We're like, yeah, we'll just stop. We'll just do a gram. We'll have a few pints, and then we'll be home. We'll be in bed by 10 o'clock, and we'll go to work Friday morning. I was working as an electrician, by the way, as well. So, I mean, I wasn't working with live power, although sometimes I could be, but still pretty dangerous. And as you can imagine, I would go home, wouldn't sleep, would just be scrolling on my phone, looking at all sorts of stuff. Sometimes even gambling. I used to do online roulette, but not very often. But anyway, I'd have a really bad sleep and wake up Friday morning and I'd just be feeling terrible. I'd usually spent some of my money already before I'd even got paid. That's the main reason why my finances were just in such a bad state, and I was just using credit cards and loans, is because I would go out on a Friday. I'd typically set myself up for a bad start to the week, or weekend rather. But this is what you feel like. You work hard throughout the week. You've got a good job. You know, you're one of the successful guys in your group of friends. You've got nice clothes, got a decent car, maybe bought a house, got a family. But it's the same old story. You just keep letting yourself down. And what that happens, it makes us feel not good about ourselves inside. That we have low confidence, low self-esteem. And then that bleeds into every single aspect of our lives. And I know this because it was me for many years, telling myself that I would stop drinking alcohol. It was just a bit of harmless fun, but just doing the same stuff every single weekend and just wondering why my relationships weren't going anywhere, wondering why my finances weren't going anywhere, my life wasn't going anywhere. And it was only when I moved away from the UK and I moved to Australia and I was able to get away from the group of friends that I had. Not saying they were bad friends, because I was doing the same as them. And they're doing quite well now, some of them. They got families, houses. But it was only when I stepped away from them and I had some time alone and I met new people and I got different ideas, I was able to kind of think, well, I don't want this life anymore. If I keep doing what I'm doing right now, things aren't going to get better for me. You might be mid-40s and you might be thinking, right, I've noticed alcohol's been a problem for the last 5 years. You might have gone through a bad breakup and then thought drinking was the answer to go out and meet new people or just sweep all the problems under the carpet. And it is the answer short term. But as we get further into our journey of life, and I'm only 35, so I'm not full of wisdom, but I've had a lot of experience. A lot of experience to know that if I didn't quit alcohol at 30, I could and would end up a loser. I could be 40, bad health, living on my own. Well, not living on your own, it's not a bad thing. I actually want to live on my own, so I actually live, let's flip the camera around. I actually live here, so I've got my own apartment. I've been single for 2 years now, by the way. And it's probably the happiest I've ever been. And I haven't been dating either. Haven't been dating. Been working on my business, working on myself, working on my mindset. But anyway, back to the point. You keep letting yourself down every single weekend. Then it gets to the point where you're like, right, that's it. I'm going to stop drinking. You do a dry Jan, or you stop for like 2-3 weeks. The pain subsides and you start to feel good. And you think, I'm just going to treat myself. I'm just going to have one drink. Then you go back out. Monday morning rolls around. You feel shame, regret. Your confidence is low. You can't look people in the eye. You can barely string a sentence together. You've been eating crap all weekend. And you think, when's this going to end? This is the same old story every single weekend. And then you stop drinking and it repeats itself. You get the point. The point I'm making is, for me, after 10 years of trying and fumbling, I was able to finally stop and quit. But it took me 10 years. If you're in your 30s or 40s, you don't have 10 years to play with. So my advice to you would be, it's just to find someone to hold you accountable. Maybe find a sober friend, find more channels like this. Just find something that will keep you on the straight and narrow. Build a vision for the future that leaves no room for drinking alcohol or the hangovers that come from it. I've got a free trainer video for 2025. It is updated this time. And it is relatable to you. You'll find it very relatable. It's not very long. Take a couple of minutes of your day. But it's enough to make you change what you think up here. So you can reshape your reality. You can build a life that you really want. Don't really want to live up there, to be honest. But, you know, living up here is treating me very well. But you want to reshape your reality. You want to get the life that you really want, not just one you're going to settle for. Check out the training video. If you did drink on the weekend, don't be too hard on yourself, but just take some accountability and ask yourself, if you don't stop now, when are you going to stop? And we're not getting any younger. As we get older, we get a few more wrinkles. It's harder to shift weight. We have less energy, so the goals we want to go for, we don't have enough vigor and vitality to attack it with. So just bear that in mind as you go forward. Anyway, have a good day, good week, weekend, or whenever you're watching this video, and I'll speak to you soon. Catch you in the next one.